No wonder that one professor in Andrews University, Jan Jovan Markovic, has made a challenge years back. In his focused research on emerging philosophy, on emerging church, he was lead to the Second Vatican Council. To our friends, Jan Jovan Markovic, if you have viewed these presentations, it will help us a lot. Your contributions in the history of the movement of the story of redemption. So, tingnan natin kapatid. Sa 1965, nakaproduce sila ng 16 major documents. Alam niyo, ang 16 major documents, gumawa ang kaaway, ng kaaway ng isang, mayroon ding documents daw na ginawa doon sa Africa. Sipin mo, maraming mga leaders ang nag-react niyan at talagang naniniwala sila noon na ginawa daw sa Nairobi, Kenya, yung 16 documents just to mislead. Kasi pag na-mislead ka doon sa ginawa nila, sa ginawa na yon, mawawala ka sa tamang mensahe ng River Mountain Island at mawala ka sa the real truth. Kasi pag titingnan mo yung na yon, na yung Nairobi, Kenya, na sinasabing 16 documents na pinalabas daw, ay sa taon, sa buwan na yon, the month and the day, my friend, it was a hoax. It was not true. But there are division leaders who even wrote and circulated to the old churches in reactions to that then 16 documents. But that is not. It talks about what is 16 documents that is crucial to our generation is what the Bible is telling us, my friend, 2,500 years ago. And it was being contextualized by the 1888 book, The Great Controversy. From the Catholic News Service, meron tayo dito 16 documents approved by the Second Vatican. Number 1. By the way, it was divided into 3 parts. The constitutions, the declarations, and decrees. Statements. No? So dito sa Constitutions of the Sacred Liturgy, Sacrosanctum Concilium, December 4, 1963. It ordered an extensive revision of worship so that people would have a clearer sense of their own involvement, in the Mass and other rites. My friends, if you have time to read this document alone, the Constitution of the Sacred Liturgy, you will see by your own eyes why we have this movement in our churches today. The adaptations of what has been in place in 1963 of the Second Vatican Council. Bakit baguhin ang liturgy? Alam mo liturgy, sila Latin, mag-sermon, ngayon, ganyan sila, mag-arrangement ng kanilang worship, kapatid. But trying to deal more on this current movement of liturgical services, dito nyo makikita, kapatid, silently, in so subtle way, that it shifted and it changes the very structure of most of the denominations of the world. Sipin mo, what is liturgy? Forms of worship. In some other episode, in some other presentation, we will give you the details, the effect and the implications of this Constitution of the Sacred Liturgy. I'll just give you one example, kapatid. Nasa Sacred Liturgy nila, makikita mo doon yung format ng worship ng Mass nila. Talagang sila mismo nagbago kasi Latin, ngayon English na. Ngayon homily na sila. Homily na, parang sermonalin natin, kapatid. Sa mga liturgical changes nila ngayon, talagang sinisikap nila na para magkaroon ng sense of own involvement ang mga sumisimpa in Mass and other rites. So ano ba yan? Kaya may connection ka. So para may connection ka, lalo na sa movement ng migration, kailangan pagpunta mo sa ibang bansa na wala kayong simbahan, you will feel at home pag nasimba ka sa mga existing churches sa lugar na pinuntahan mo, sapagkat ang forms or the liturgical format is just the same of what you are practicing in your church, in your own locality, in your own country. Kaya sinisikap talagang baguhin ang format, kapatid. Ano yung format na yun? Yung collections of tithes and offering. Bakit? So in some other episode, i-explain natin yan, kapatid. I-explain natin na the truth will stand by itself. Kasi sila mismo ang nagsabi. Yun din ang pinaka-program, pinaka-structure ng program, kapatid. Mayroon tayo ditong decree on the instruments of social communications. Inter Mirifica. December 4, 1963. It called on members of the church, especially the laity, to instill a human Christian spirit into newspapers, magazine, books, films, radio, and televisions. Ang ganda nito, kapatid. Isipin nyo, all members of the church, the lay people, has to be involved into proclamation, in social communication. Napaka-advanced nila, kapatid. Isipin mo, media, social communications. Gugulat ka, kapatid. I'm going to tell you na halos lahat ng mga batas in terms of communications, social communications. Sa atin, may tinatawag tayong NTC, National Telecommunications. Bili ka doon ng dokumento dyan sa NTC. Puntahan mo. Basahin mo yung objective, mission statement, mga programs nila. Exactly, Second Vatican Council. My friend. So mga kapatid, mga kaibigan, huwag na tayong magtaka bakit lahat ay gustong i-involve sa radio and television programs. Bakit meron tayong CBN, Community Broadcasting Network? Stations. Kasi involve mga, ano lang yan, mga 5,000 watts lang yan. Magkaroon tayo ng lahat. Everyone should be engaged into proclamation. Pero what is that proclamation? Love and unity and compassion. Napakaganda niyan, kapatid. Because social communications is vital in inculturations. Punta naman natin isang dokumento nila, yung Dogmatic Constitution of the Church. Nagbago sila ng definition, kapatid. Nagbago sila ng definition ng church. It presented the church as a mystery. Mystery ang church. As a communion of baptized believers. As the people of God, as the body of Christ, and as a pilgrim moving towards fulfillment. Sa kanila mismo, dahil participated yung Vatican Council na yan ng mga iba't ibang religious organizations, lahat ng dokumento na yan ay dumaan doon sa mga participants, talagang mystery. Pero nakaset up na ang ground na lahat ng reliyon darating sa tinatawag nating religious pluralism. Mystery ng bawat reliyon ay may turong tama yan at nakakaisa lang tayo sa dulo niyan. Pilgrim moving towards fulfillment in heaven, but marked on earth with a sanctity that is real, true, and perfect. Kaganda nito, kapatid. Gandang discussion natin ito. Sa isang 2012, may isang libro na magazine na nagsulat. The Liturgies for Christian Unity is an anthology of the very best approaches to celebrating common religious ground. Ito, kapatid, wala na ito, complete na sila. Kasi 1965 pa sila. Ito 2012 na ito na mga activities nila na common religious ground containing prayers and texts from the past 100 years of the week of prayer for Christ. Isipin nyo, 100 years na ang week of prayer for Christian unity. So paano mo nga maramdaman yung kaibahan, yung mga prinsipyo, mga teachings, mga policy, na paano mo makikita na ito ay hindi sa Panginoon? In the past 100 years, ay unti-unti na ito at naging practice na, naging way of life na ng halos ng lahat ng tao sa mundo. Even including Buddhist, Shintoism, and Islam. My beloved friends, the next one, ang sisa nito, yung decree on ecumenism. Alam mo yung ecumenism, November 21, 1964 yan, finally approved. It said that ecumenism should be everyone's concern. Lahat ng tao yun ang dapat concern. And that genuine ecumenism involves a continual personal and institutional renewal. Bigat, kapatid. Personal renewal and institutional renewal. What does it mean? Personal renewal means yung ating tinatawag revival and reformation. Ano yung tinatawag institutional renewal? Ano yung bang institution na nasa Bible? The institution of marriage. The institution of Sabbath, the institution of the church. Wow! Unitatis redintegrati. Decree on ecumenism. Kaya wag kayong magtaka, kapatid. Sa ating generation lang tayo makakita na nagsama-sama ang lahat ng reliyon sa isang family camp meetings. Simula yan sa mga couples for Christ, singles for Christ, mga tinatawag nating mga religious spirituality. Ang tagal na nga, hindi nga natin naramdaman yung Asian for Christ, Asia for Christ. No? Started in India, kaya mayroon tayong Indology. Are you aware of what is Indology? That's the only in the dictionary. Kasi the first batch of the missionaries from the Protestants in America sent to India. So ano yung mga kapatid na movement nito? Na hindi mo na malayan na halos lahat ay sama-samang kumilos papunta doon sa isang pupuntahan. Meron nga silang decree on Eastern Catholic Churches. Paano nila i-deal? Paano nagkaroon? Wala na. Tapos na, kapatid. Kasi 1965, 2019 na tayo ngayon, yung mga iba't ibang klaseng oriental beliefs, mga oriental beliefs, kapatid, na integrate na lahat. Yung mga traditions ng iba't ibang mga Eastern Catholic churches. Kaya nga, kailangan tanggapin. It's not only tolerance, but engagement. Yun ang lingwahe nila, engagement. Magugulat ka na lang na, bakit nakaganito na dati hindi ganoon? Puntahan natin yung decree on the Bishop's Pastoral Office in the church. Pagbisahan, Christus Dominus. October 28, 1965. According to this publication, it said, each bishop has full ordinary power in his own diocese and is expected to present Christian doctrine in ways adapted to the times. Ano ba yung doctrine na adapted to the times? Yung panahon natin ngayon ay kailangan tayong magsama kasi ang problema natin isa lang. Parehas lang ang problema natin. Yan ang sinabi. Di ba? Yan din ang Bible, di ba? Dahil sa economic competition, open trade, isa lang ang problema. Sa ating panahon kailangan magturo daw. And it urged conferences of bishops to exercise pastoral direction jointly. Grabe. Kailangan joint ministerial, joint pastoral, kaya joint chaplaincy operations. Halos lahat ng kapatid, crafted. 1965. No wonder Jovan Markovic, in the emerging teachings, hinatid siya doon sa Second Vatican Council. Sabagat everything in life today, according to one publication from the Catholic Man, the title of their book, magazine, January 30, 2012, The Call to be One in Christ. Ang ganda. Authored by Maurice Blomberg. It has been over 47 years, because this was 2012, since the Second Vatican Council produced the seminal document, the Decree on Ecumenism. However, much progress has been made in building bridges to other Christian denominations. Much. It's not little progress. This was in 2012. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 7 years had passed. If you're going to ask yourself, in base on all the data that we have right now. The evidence, truth, stands by itself. May sinabi ang isang sulat sa My Life. Page 77, paragraph 3. It is a great mistake on the part of those who are children of God to seek to bridge the gulf that separates the children of light from the children of darkness by yielding principle. The principle of God and the principle of the enemy of God. The principle of the Bible and the principle of the enemy of Jesus Christ. He transforms as an angel of light, and He is going to imitate. Remember, my beloved friends, yielding principle by compromising truth. Minsan, hindi natin nakikita kung ano na tungkol sa ecumenism. The spirit of ecumenism at work. Ito ang pinaka-kanta, sinisigaw ng administrasyon sa mga issues ng religious freedom. Ang religious freedom ay na-defined na ng movement ng ecumenism. Isipin niyo, kapatid, kaibigan, sama-samang nanalangin, sama-samang gawain ang lahat ng mga pastors ng iba't ibang relihiyon. Kaya dito lang nga sa ating Pilipinas, mayroon nga tayong program na bawat tuwing Lunes ng umaga, magkakaroon ng moral recovery presentation sa lahat ng munisipyo sa buong Pilipinas. Sa pamamagitan ng pagbukas ng isang linggo, Lunes, magkaroon ng mga homily o mga sermon after the flag ceremony sa bawat munisipyo. And this has been done by jointly mga pastors ng iba't ibang denominations. Ito ay mga kaganapan sa ating panahon na dapat nating intindihin. Kasi napakaganda, napaka-noble, kapatid. Tingnan natin uli yung isa sa mga decree na ginawa sa 1965. Itong decree on the church missionary activity. So inilatag na nila noon pa kasama ang iba't ibang relihiyon. Sino ang mga nag-participate doon ng mga Protestants? Halos lahat, kapatid. Sa Seventh-day Adventist Church, may 3 tayong nag-attend doon. Nung mabasa mo sa Adventist Review, nandoon, Elder Maxwell, si B. Sila ang mga primary na nakaparticipate doon, kapatid. So itong missionary activity, sabi pa ng kanilang dokumento, as being summarized by the document published in the internet, it said that missionary activity should help the social and economic welfare of people and not force anyone to accept the faith. So malinaw sa kanilang principle, kapatid, na pag tayo tumulong sa pangangailangan, sa ekonomiya man o sosyal na pangangailangan ng sanlibutan o ng mga tao, hindi na kailangan na ikaw ay tumulong, ay ipatanggap mo ang iyong pananampalataya sa mga tao. Napakalinaw ito sa kanila, kapatid. Kaya makikita natin sa kanilang mga missionary activities nga, yung namimigay sila dito sa atin ng mga wheelchair sa mga may kapansanan. Ang nasa likod nakasulat, donated by the Knights of Columbus. Wala silang activity para ikaw gawin nilang Katoliko. That's merely helping, kapatid. Yan ang kanilang philosophy, teachings, or policy. Basahin naman ulit natin itong Pastoral Constitutions on the Church in the Modern World. Paano na-engage nila ang political dynamism sa mga concern nila sa lahat ng bansa ng mga underdeveloped nations. Hindi nga natin namalayan na natanggalan ng utang ang Pilipinas dahil lang sa kanilang philosophy na Jubilee 2000. Yung debt relief principles na kanilang pinatupad. Ano pa kapatid? Meron pa ito sila declarations on the relationships of the church to the non-Christian religions. Bakit sa ating generations, the past decade, nakikita natin na kahit yung mga non-Christian organizations, non-Christian religions, are getting involved into this ecumenical. Sinabi pa nga, yung the fermentation ng ganitong movement. Nostra Aetate, October 28, 1965. It said that the Catholic Churches rejects nothing that is true and holy in non-Christian religion. Nakikita mo yun? Wala silang ni-reject. Kung ano man ang katotohanan and holy in non-Christian religions, called for an end of anti-Semitism. Sipin mo, naging example sila. Kaya nga, nagpatupad sila ngayon ng Saturday, Sabbath. Ganon sila katindi, ganon sila kaseryoso para abutin ang pagkakaisa ng bawat mananampalataya. Minsan nagkakaroon tayo ng pag-iisip, isahin ang relihiyon. Hindi kapatid. Nakakaroon ng mga konseptong conspiracy theory na matagal na hawak-hawak ng maraming mga tao. Hawak-hawak ng maraming mga mananampalataya ng parating na Panginoon. Na isahin ang relihiyon. Pag naisa ng relihiyon, ito na ang programa na ipatupad ng 666. Kapatid, ang program nila, pagsamasamahin ang mga relihiyon. Iba yung isahin ang relihiyon. Ibig sabihin, isa na lang ang pangalan ng pagsamasamahin lang ang mga relihiyon. Ang tawag niyan, ecumenism. So dapat natin makuha ito para maka-engage tayo ng right message at the right time. No? Declaration on Christian Education, Gravissimum Educationes, October 28, 1965. It affirmed the right of parents to choose the type of education they want for their children, upheld the importance of Catholic schools, and defended freedom of inquiry into Catholic colleges and universities. Mga kaibigan, mga kapatid, K-12, pag binasa mo itong makapal ito kapatid, itong Declaration of Christian Educations, pag nabasa nyo ito, doon ka magugulat na ang lahat ng ating structural operations ng edukasyon ng mundo, early education was crafted from Declaration of Christian Education. Puntahan naman natin yung Decree on the Apostolate of the Laity. Apostolicam Actuositatem, November 18, 1965. It said the laity should influence their surroundings with Christ's teachings. Kaya dito, isipin mo, it said laity, members, ordinary members of faith, should influence their surroundings with Christ. Ano ibig sabihin doon, kapatid? Kaya nahinog sa kanila yun. Yung Catholic lifestyle. No? Catholic lifestyle. No? Mayroon silang program, kapatid. Matagal na. 1965 pa. No? Catholic integrated lifestyle. Kasi yung konsepto ng integration, yun ang pinaka-word sa ecumenism, sa religious pluralism. Integration, others can participate, or others may copy, or others may take part in achieving the common ground and the common goal. Simple lang, kapatid. Philosophy. So, ganun katindi ang philosophy, kapatid. It established way of life. Sa ibang episode natin, tatalakayin natin yan, a special episode on culture or way of life. How faith is being affected by the culture or how programs molded the mindset, how culture has to be developed. It took years. So dapat ma-open tayo ngayon, kapatid. Huwag nating sarhan ang ating mga pag-iisip sa paglago ng isang katotohanan, sa paghawak ng sinasabi ng Panginoon. Halimbawa, sa Declaration of Religious Freedom. Di ba? Freedom of religion, freedom of religion. Darating ang araw, kukunin sa atin ang Bible at i-force sa atin ang mga turo. Pero sila sa kapatid, ang kanila, Declaration on Religious Freedom. So paano natin i-handle ito? Kasi by the time we talk about freedom of religion, tapos sa pabasa, pipilitin tayo. Pag walang pagpipilit na ginagawa, ang iniisip natin matagal pa darating ang Panginoon, kapatid. Take note, this has been the mindset of the Adventists for the past several decades. Saan doon mo mahagilap yung deception? Yung forcible acceptance of their teachings. Saan mo makikita doon, kapatid? Kaya dito yung Declaration on Religious Freedom, December 7, 1965, na finalize ito, Dignitatis Humanae. It said that religious liberty is a right found in the dignity of each person, and that no one should be forced to act in a way contrary to his or on her own belief. Ito ang kanilang teachings. Huwag naman natin sabihin, walang salita nila, pero iba lang. That's conspiracy. We need to identify the art of deception, the art of war, the mode, the approach of deception, my beloved friends. Religious liberty, your right ends when my right begins. Let us respect. Kaya sa ating generation, kapatid, kita mo, whenever, kung kahit saan sila pupunta, ma-China man, ma-Muslim countries, kahit saan pupunta, ang mga papa, the Pope, pumunta sila sa Cuba, a communist country. Sinabi ni Pope, in Cuba, in March of 2012, published news, religious freedom creates conditions conducive to peace and harmonious development. Kapatid, grabe na ito. Creates conditions conducive to peace. So, nilirespeto nila ang karapatan natin sa pagsamba, kapatid. Kaya nga, mayroon na rin silang Sabado. According to Pope Benedict, strengthening religious freedom, consolidate social bonds, nourishes the hope of a better world. Ang ganda ng language, nourishes the hope of a better world. Creates favorable conditions for peace and harmonious development, while at the same time establishing solid foundation for securing the rights of future generations. Napakaganda nito ng mga philosophy na teachings, kapatid, kaibigan. Paano pumunta sa isip ng mga tao na sila ay beast? Paano natin ma-connect ang ganitong movement ng little horn na sila ngayon becomes the very factor of the human race? Sa matagal ng panahon, iniisip at pinopropose ng mga evangelical Protestant world yung the city of religious freedom. Tagal na yan, kapatid. Kaya sa ating generation, meron tayong mga the city of flowers, the city of smile, the city. So, a global movement of humanity ay dumadaloy tayo sa isang magandang noble na mga morally upright na mga programs and activities. Pero nagulat na lang tayo sa isang umaga, April 24, 2012, published ni Pastor John Grass, will Rome be the new world capital for religious freedom? Rome recently launched an observatory on religious freedom, an initiative aimed at making Rome the reference point for the defense of the freedom in the world. Grabe! Sila na ngayon ang city. Sila ngayon ang maging nation. The reference point for the defense of religious freedom. Sino ang tumulong sa atin para tanggalin ang nakatag sa atin the previous decade na tayo ay kulto? Sila ang tumulong, kapatid. Huwag naman natin bigyan ng conspiracy theory na dahil sa Trinity, sila ay pareha sa atin, hawa tayo sa kanino. In other episode, we will discuss about that, my beloved friends. It took several years, 1963, 64, 65, 3 years of the council. According to these publications, sa isang encyclopedia, other events, on October 4, 1965, Pope Paul made a historic journey to speak before the United Nations in New York City. The Pope made a trip in the name of the entire council. The entire council comprises Roman Catholics and Protestant evangelicals for the cause of peace in the world. What an amazing fulfillment of what Daniel have written 2,500 years ago. The emerging teachings, the emerging philosophy, the culture of peace. He pleaded for the support of all nations in promoting peace and outlawing war. Ang ganda nito, kapatid, dapat nating isipin ito. Dapat natin tangkilikin ang mga nakakabuting mga gawa. Kaya si John the Revelator, and I admire after the woman, after the peace. World hopes new Pope will continue to work for peace. Grabe, kapatid. Benedict I's Christian unity, global peace, justice, freedom. But in 2010, may isang principle na sinagsasabi. When there is peace, when there is unity, there is peace. When there is peace, there is prosperity. In unity, there is peace. In peace, there is prosperity. In unity, there is security. In security, there is prosperity. Ang tawag ng lengguwaheng ito is authentic human development. Sa 1965 na mga presentations, policies, yan ang naging hawak. Siya ang pinaka-ground ng tinatawag na authentic human development. Sa makatuwid, mga kapatid, paano mo sabihin na ang kanilang program and principles ay hindi sa Panginoon? When they talk about peace, kapatid. So pagtitingnan natin ang pangkalahatan in the past years of this planet Earth, sa mga conventions na ginawa sa buong mundo, alam mo, kapatid, the global consensus, we have common realizations. That the realization that we have global realities. These global realities has common problems. And these common problems have been given a global perspective. And this perspective, to solve the problems, we have common solutions. And these common solutions can only be achieved by participating global initiatives. Initiatives through programs and projects. The implementations of these programs and projects advocated by the different institutions of the world, from kindergarten, from the unborn to the pregnant women, to the unborn, to the new, to the children, the common implementations. This can only be achieved when we are governed by the global ethics. What is global ethics? The science of right behavior, the common spirituality. So therefore, my beloved friends, human need, love, and unity. So it is the gospel of peace is the common message. So dito natin makikita at maintindihan ngayon, habang tayo nanonood ngayon, Kahit ngayon, buksan nyo agad, i-search nyo agad sa inyong mga, sa inyong kamay. Kasi ang platform ng lahat ng program, pwede mo nang titingnan. At the tip of your fingertips, mag-search ka lang. Ano ang mga activities, projects, programs, the Global Initiative Against Transnational Organized Crime? Masama ba yun? Napakaiba, no? The Global Initiative on Commodities. How to protect consumers, my friend. Sa mga Muslims, these are only samples of the hundreds of thousands of these programs and activities, projects. The Abu Dhabi Global Environmental Data Initiative. Global Environmental. Kaya sa isang libro na mabili nyo sa National Bookstore, puntahan nyo ang East End, kapatid. Please you buy. Napakamura lang librong ito. Kasi ang librong ito magbigay sa inyo ng napakalinaw na mga kaalaman na may koneksyon na statement doon sa binigkas ni Kristo na sinasabing closing or apocalyptic dynamism of planet Earth. Mabibili mo yan, design for a just society. Ang hindi nito, design for a just society. It is a technical term. Mga design, architectural design for a just society. Yung makatarungang sosyudad. Pag binasa mo itong libro na ito, mamamangha ka, kapatid. Wala kang masisilip na butas niyan. Na ito ay gawain ba ito ng kaaway ni Kristo? Grabe naman. Pag binasa mo in page 190, sa libro nito, in order to be authentic, development must be complete. Integral. That is, it has to promote the good of every man and of the whole man. Every man, regardless of your religious denominations. Every man and of the whole man. It is not just certain in it, but all men who are called to this fullness of development. Urgent reform should be undertaken without delay. Grabe, seryoso, without delay. Ganito katindi, kapatid, ang movement na ito. So dapat natin intindihin, ano ba itong mga kaganapan? Saan ba tayo dapat lumagay nito, kapatid? At paano natin i-engage ang message of redemption, kapatid? Ang 28 fundamental belief, paano mo i-engage sa isang apocalyptic relevance and connectivity. One quotations from Ellen G. White. Sinabi niya, Satan's policy. Page 591. Open it. In this final conflict with God's people is the same that he employed in the opening of the great controversy in heaven. The same. Ano bang ginawa niya doon? Kasi itong statement ni Ellen G. White, dapat maka-open na ito. It opened the door for a clearer view what transpiring in planet Earth today. He professed to be seeking to promote stability, to promote of the divine government, while secretly bending every effort to secure its overthrow. Sinulat na pala 1888. Kailan lang ito, kapatid? Yung principles of the common good. Magugulat ka, kapatid. In order to develop it, integral, that is, it has to promote the good of every man and of the whole man. It is not just certain everyone. The same word. What in a world? What in a time na ang ginamit ni Ellen G. White promote the stability, yun din ang ginawa, promote. Because truth stands by itself. The Word of God stands by itself. Ano sinabi ng Daniel 8:25? Through His policy, He shall cause crop to prosper and prosper to promote. Well, beloved friends, it's time for us to come to the Lord and thank Him na manalangin tayo. Tulungan niyo kami, Panginoon, na mawaglit sa aming puso yung self-sufficiency. Kasi dineclare talaga ni Kristo, you have to come to a point in time in our life to accept fundamental biblical truth. How Christ described us. Hanggang hindi natin i-confess sa Panginoon yung sinabi niya na sa atin, dinescribe natin ang ating sarili, that thou art rich and in need of nothing. Thou hast said to yourself, hanggang hindi tayo darating sa punto na yan, maghinder yan sa atin ng ating paglago, kapatid. Kasi manatili yung sinasabi diyan, Greek philosophy. Because the Greek philosophy always talk about masters. Hanggang sa Roman. Kaya dito sa Encyclopedia of World Problems and Human Potential, maintindihan natin napakaraming solusyon sa napakaraming problema. So, ang human potential, ito ngayon ang gagamitin ng tao. In fairness naman sa tao, because you take Christ out from man, man has the ability to think by his own. What is best for them? Di ba? Sa history ng Biblia, palaging nakikita, mayroon silang sarili. Man. Halimbawa, si Cain, yung una, mayroon siyang sarili na maganda din, iniisip niya. Halos sa lahat, kapatid, mayroon makasarili na just a slight, kunti lang. So dito natin makikita at maintindihan na post-millennialist theology, love, cooperation, unity, peace, and prosperity, Christian unity. Sa Christian unity, ito ang nangyari ng new spirituality. Kaya ang new spirituality na yan, sa pagkakaisa ng mga Kristiyano, sa mga Buddhist, Muslim, the unity of all faith, ay naging, pinanghawakan. Kung nangyari yan sa isang tao na may pananampalataya, ang tao na yan na may political connections, political identity, sa kanyang kinabuhayan, yan ang ginatawag na global philosophy, na ang globalization naka-achieve ng new humanity. Now, while this ongoing to the peak and to the point of accomplishing, to complete, kaya ang mga bukang bibigay nila, kailangan kumplituhin na. Abutin na ito, kasi may nakahadlang pa. Ano yung nakahadlang? Isang grupo ng mga tao, grupo ng mananampalataya. It's the advocacy of premillennialists na darating na ang Panginoon. The last perilous time shall come. History is very clear how the Bible is telling us. Through His policy, He shall cause craft to prosper. You will go to science. Because science cause an effect. The logical philosophy, the ethical. So makikita natin dito sa previous episode natin, politically right, economically right. Bakit? Kasi crafted yan. Sa isang human philosophy. Sa isang blueprint na after Ellen G. White wrote the great controversy on 1888, 3 years out, 89, 1991, exactly 3 years after Ellen G. White wrote the book Great Controversy, may isang tao na sumulat na encyclical. Ang pamagat ng kanyang isinulat ay Rerum Novarum. Si Pope Leo XIII in 1891 na naging foundational document ng social philosophy ng buong mundo ngayon. Ang Rerum Novarum, ang ibig sabihin, that's a Latin words in new, of new things. For the common good, ang tawag niyan, kapatid, of the new, sa mabago, renovarum, kapatid. Kaya ang tinatawag na for the common good, the new, for the common good, dito natin makikita yung literal significance ng program at kung paano sinabi ng Panginoon. Sa ating generations, inilunsad ang Millennium Development Goal. Ang Millennium or MDG, kapatid, is a timely program. Kasi ang Second Vatican Council, pag binasa mo mga encyclopedia dyan, started in 1962 to 65, they officially launched na ang target niyan is 40 years, is 2004. 40 years! Exactly the same with biblical principles. 40 years in the wilderness. Because that 40 years covers to mold the new culture, cultural mindset, the inculturation. All humanity has been involved, participated for this millennial development goal. Kaya ang dapat itanong, nasa Bible ba ang MDG? Millennial Development Goal. May prophetic injunction ba yung mga kaganapan natin ngayon? Kasi parang limited lang ang ating pag-iisip ng prophecy sa fulfillment. Lindol, kasi yun mga common. Pero yung thread, yung stream, o yung isang paraan, no? Isang takbo, isang current, the stream of a philosophy na siya ang pinaka-major para i-defile, para i-fornicate, para maka-engage ang kaaway ng partnership. Take note. To engage God's people in partnership. It's not God's people. Kasi minsan isip natin, tayo rin mag-participate, anuhin natin sila. Mayroong movement ang kaaway to engage God's people in partnership. And the way it is being done for the good. Kaya pag binasa natin ito, kapatid, it's not by accident na nagkaroon ng Millennial Development Goal ang humanity. Started in year 2000, ang Millennial Development Goal as the new millennium began up to 2015. 2015 up to 2019, we are into sustainable development. Pero ano yung Millennial Development Goal? According to their own document from the United Nations Development Program, the MDG also provide a framework for the entire international community. Take note, entire international community to work together towards a common end. Common end, common good, common goal, making sure that human development reaches everyone, everywhere. It's no wonder, my beloved friends, kahit saang sulok ng mundo, ganun katindi ang movement na yan. That's why waters in the river, kahit gaano pang obstruction yan, it finds way to go down to its objective, to its goal, to its point of destinations, reaches everyone, everywhere, sa lahat ng tao. If these goals are achieved, world poverty will be cut by half. So dito natin makikita, kapatid, yung sila mismo sa kanilang bibig. Crafted yan, kapatid, sa isang napakagandang filosofiya. Philosophy that produces culture. Kaya itong Millennial Development Goal, kapatid, pagbasahin natin ito, ang 8 Millennial Development Goal. 8, kapatid yan. Yung 8 Millennial Development Goal, dito natin makikita at maintindihan kung gaano katindi yung art of fornication and the art of defiling. Goal number 1. You prepared? Please keep on watching this particular episode. Because the art, the culture that has evolved in our generation has been done through very subtle, silent. It's a systematic integration that runs in the fibers of truth. Number 1, eradicate extreme poverty and hunger. This one particular goal is so noble. Eradicate extreme poverty and hunger. Kaya nagkaroon tayo ng iba't ibang klaseng program, feeding program, helping the poor, that's unknown to most of us. Pag hindi tayo nag-iingat, may mga program at activities nito, kapatid, na hindi na malaya ng karamihan, that eventually, that one in a moment, that once in a while, they become violators of the principles of God. Ilang mga bisis, wala ang kapatiran. Wala sila sa araw ng kabanalan. At on Sabbath day, wala sila. Saan sila? Nandoon nakapila sa land bank. Nakapila doon sa DSWD kasi pinamigay ang mga benefits. For example, literally, the poor piece. Pag titingnan, ano ba masama sa poor piece, kapatid? Wala. But the moment you come into violations with the sacredness and the sanctity of the Sabbath, because you are required to do so. Wow, my beloved friends. Eradicate extreme poverty and hunger. The program, maraming program na hindi na makasimba ang mga anak ng Diyos. Dahilan lang sa ganito. Now, I would like to tell you, friends, for those who are in institutional work, may mga manual yan, may mga handbook yan sila. Missions. You try to read it. Tingnan nyo naman gaano ka-noble yan. Gaano sila ka-professional to achieve common end. There must be unified participation. Sama-sama tayo. I-engage natin ang ating mga sarili. I-engage namin kami ang aming sarili sa inyong program. Pupunta kami sa inyong church. Kayo naman, engage naman kayo, papunta naman sa amin. So maglinis tayo sa ating bakuran, maglinis tayo sa ating mga kalsada, sa komunidad. Tulong-tulong tayo maglinis ng ganito. Huwag kayong mag-absent. Kasi yung budget na yung appropriation sa inyo, mawawala pag may absent kayo, kapatid. Kahit sinong tao, kapatid. Yung goal number 2, achieve universal primary education. Paano sinabi ni Sister White that the education of the children must begin the formal at the age of 8? So paano yung primary education, 4, 5, 6, early educations? So unknown to most of us, we've been systematically deceived. Because you have to get into your children to that early education. Alam mo sa bata, kapatid, pag bata ang turuan mo, sa kanilang edad na yan, kailangan pa nilang maglaro. Kailangan pa nilang ma-expose sa nature. Na by the time you send them to schools in a formal education, simple sa formal education, group of students na yan, kailangan manage mo yan, may management ang diyan magsimula ang disiplina nila, kapatid. Pero may isang philosophy, ang science of psychology. Pag ang bata, isuppress mo ang kanilang natural tendency. If a child lives in suppression, he learns to be rebellious. Kasi yung natural tendency gifted by God, isuppress mo yan, kapatid, they will learn to be rebellious. Kadalasan nagugulat tayo, saan ba nagmana itong anak to? Saan ba nagmana ito sila na ang bait naman? Saan nagmana ang anak ni brother, ni sister, na napakabait nila? Saan nagmana? Bakit ang tigas ng ulo? Unknown to most of us. Early education is the main reasons. The moment you suppress the natural tendency of the children. So nandoon yung systematic, kapatid. Kaya hindi maari na yung counsel, ang formal education, your children, send your children to formal education at the age of 8. Kaya on data ngayon, maraming mga estudyante, nag-burn out na sila. Pagdating sa high school, ayaw nang tapusin ang pag-aaral. Nag-burn out na sila. Dahil sa early education na yan, mag-exit sila, ang leeway nila, they play computers. Kasi na-born out na sila sa education na sinasabi ng mundo, kapatid. Wala. Pupunta ang pupuntahan. So many factors. I-factor in mo para nagkaroon tayo ng generations ngayon na ganito katindi. Goal number 3, promote gender equality and empower women. So simple. Gender equality, the rights of the children, the rights of the unborn, the rights, lahat ng karapatan, and empower women. So settled that this principle, this policy, gets into the system of all religious denominations. In the name, for the good of evangelism, for the good of the church, dito lumalabas yung tinatawag nating empower women. Sa empowerment of women, equal lahat. Of course, hindi naman sinabi na hindi pwede ang babae mag-participate ng evangelism. Hindi naman sinabi na ang mga babae ay hindi mag-function sa church. But there is one biblical principle that God establishes in this word. Kung gaano lang, kung saan lang ang hangganan. The valuable rule of women for the rearing of the children. Kaya nga, ang palaging sinasabi ng Biblia dyan, representations ng humanity, it always represented into sa lalaki, kapatid. Yung dahil sa philosophy ng gender equality, so equal na tayo. So, kung equal na lahat, pati ang ordinations ng equal. Unknown to most of us. This has been the movement of the closing generations. The closing prescription of God. And through His policy, yun ang prescription ng Panginoon. Tinuro sa atin yung instruction, yung reality ng mga policy na yan. Pag hindi mo maintindihan yan, kapatid, mawawala ka, kapatid, sa takbo. At maaano tayo, you become powerless to stand amidst this magnitude of the current movement of our time. Sa Time Magazine ngayon, hindi naman natin pwede ipagkailan na yan ang katotohanan. The New Roman Time Magazine. Pagbasahin mo yan, hindi mo maintindihan na yung akdang panahon na babalik.
Buenos días, hermanos, hermanas, friends. Good day to all our friends around the world.